Tango Gameworks and Bethesda are soon to unleash the ultimate evil, Shinji Mikami's latest work, The Evil Within, on October 14th, 2014. But before you take a step into that nightmare, I figure you better know just exactly what you're getting yourself into. In the game, you play as Sebastian Castellanos, and along with him his partner Julie Kidman. They have responded to an emergency call from fellow police officers who requested backup at Beacon Mental Hospital. Blood everywhere, bodies on the floor, and no one around. What could have happened here? Sebastian investigates and soon views a security camera with a mysterious figure before being knocked out, not aware of the horrors that await him. Little else is known about the story in The Evil Within, and I think that Tango Gameworks and Bethesda aim to keep it that way, for fans to guess and obviously for us to play and experience the horror ourselves. But that doesn't stop us from taking a look at the gameplay and the core elements that define The Evil Within. The Evil Within is a third-person survival horror game, and with that being said, what really makes it stand apart from the rest? Luckily, Dust Golem of NeoGaf recently had some hands-on time with the game to give us a better glimpse of how this all works. Combat is over the shoulder, fighting with guns, also a crossbow-like weapon, and even traps at your disposal. Now during his hands-on, he played the demo 6 times and can confirm randomized enemy placement and items depending on what difficulty level you're playing. Breaking boxes netted him different results, while sometimes there might have been a swarm of enemies in a room, only later to replay that same section and there would only be a few. Now this looks to keep the experience fresh with each new playthrough. Controls are tank-like in nature, with Sebastian having a weight to his step, especially when turning, which can lead to some intense moments of combat. Sneaking is a part of the gameplay as well, with stealth kills. Sneaking up on an enemy might add for some tension to the player, but be careful, they could turn around unexpectedly. Also, not all downed enemies stay down, so be sure to burn them or shoot them in the head, because you never know when they might pop back up. Save rooms are here, and when approached, they're going to be accompanied by a peaceful melody letting you know you're getting close. Now, the place that it takes you to is a hub-like area that hasn't really been shown to the media yet, but it's where Sebastian can also use green jelly finds in the game to upgrade his character, and the upgrades can range from stamina boost to extra melee damage. Even on normal, the game seems to offer quite the challenge, so upgrading your character will be essential as the game progresses. Puzzles are also thrown into the mix, with some disturbing results. Hopefully, they don't pick your brain too much. Shinji Mikami's latest game looks to take players into a familiar yet horrific new survival horror experience. And with that comes the terrors that you'll be facing. As we know of now, the majority of the regular enemies you interact with are zombie-like in nature. They stumble around, attack in aggressiveness, and some even have weapons of their own. Yet Sebastian has his own arsenal, but don't expect to totally decimate enemies with a plethora of ammo. It's still crucial to scrounge for ammo and supplies as you make your way through this nightmare. There are also special enemies that stalk you and try to impede your progress through various chapters. Though we have very little information on these enemies, what little we can share is sure to prepare you for the worst. Boxman, aka the Keeper, is intimidating, but the most iconic thing about him is his head, which is made up of a safe. And as he pursues you, weapons seem to have very little effect on him. And if you're able to bring him down, he can regenerate a new body anywhere, sometimes even right behind you. Rebone Lore isn't a very scary name, but when you see this creature, as I'd like to call it, you may just change your tune. Multiple limbs, sharp nails, and hair that prevents you from truly seeing her horrifying face. If you see her, you better run, or it could be too late. The Sadist is quite simple. A man who has the urge to kill and bears an iron mask, and he can hear you and stalk you out, so it's best to hide and move around him stealthily, otherwise you might just find yourself on the wrong end of his chainsaw. Last but certainly not least is Ruvik, the mysterious hooded figure that Sebastian sees on the surveillance camera earlier. He has amazing speed, can shift into and out of our reality, and if you don't hide from him, he can simply touch you and deal damage. I have a feeling he plays a much bigger part of the story than we know, and while enemies themselves might be your biggest threat, don't forget, not everything you see in the game can be believed, and it will certainly test you. These are some of the monstrosities that you're going to face in The Evil Within, and how it all ties in and plays together is just something we're going to have to wait to experience and find out. At the end of the day, we ultimately know what the game experience encompasses, but there's probably oh so much more that we're just waiting to get our hands on. I want to give a big thanks to Neo Gaffer, Dusk Golem, for his hands-on impressions at the latest PAX event. I also want to give a big thanks to Bethesda and Tango Gameworks, of course, for their hard work on the game. And last but not least, a huge thank you to Shinji Mikami for actually returning to the survival horror genre. You were missed. Evil Takes Hold, starting October 14th, 2014. See you there.